So this time from the new Marvel Legends 2012 series, we're looking at figure number 2, which is Hope Summers from the X-Men. Not a figure that I particularly wanted or felt was necessary to have from the X-Men, but a pretty good figure nonetheless. Now, her body sculpt is a little bit, how should I say this, more adult than it should be. She's supposed to be kind of like around 16, 17. But they've given her, I feel, a more older type body than that. I don't know. It's just, she's supposed to be a teenager. It doesn't look like a teenager, really. And that's really kind of the only fault that I have with it. Her hair is nicely done. Really like the cloak that they've given her, along with her sort of gauntlets and shin guards. Very nice with these wrappings. Painted very nicely. Got the nice weathering to them. And just the way they look dirty. They look lived in. And of course, this one is supposed to be, she's a refugee in the future, or from the future, and so that bears it out. And she's got this nice, very metallic green look to her. Her yellowish stripes are pretty clean. There's a little bit of mess here and on the shoulder up here, but nothing too bad. I do think they did mess up, if you can see the lips on there. I don't think they're exactly fully painted. It gives her a very, I don't know, kind of a weird expression, because they aren't quite fully painted. It's just a little bit, but even that little bit just does kind of make the facial expression a little bit off for me. Maybe it's just me and my figure. Now for accessories, she comes with this gun, this Liefeld gun from, I think we first saw this with the Forge figure in the 2-pack with Wolverine. Yeah, I think it's a 2-pack with Wolverine. It's very bendy. Not particularly fond of that. I like my accessories very solid. But it is a neat little future tech kind of a weapon. It is kind of hindered by both the cape, cowl, whatever, poncho thingy here, and the hair sculpt. So you can move it around the head a little bit, but not too much. Basically just from there to there. Her arms do go all the way around, but again, the little thing is in the way a bit. I guess you could take this off if you snapped her head off, but yeah, see? So there. And with it off, she does move around a bit better with her head. But I think she looks cooler with it on. So I'm going to keep it on and not have her head be able to pose too much. She does bend and rotate at the elbows. Her wrists rotate and bend in and out. These gauntlets are pretty nice. They're not glued on there. They're just put over the arms. And that's quite nice because as you pose the hand, you can move that along with it. She's got the upper torso articulation here. It works a little bit better since the last time we saw it around here. I forget which figure it was, but we got hardly any rotation on that figure. But this one, you do get some forward and back and left and right, as well as like a bit side to side. Now that's just a wobble, really. Her legs are nice. They move at the hip there, forward and back, and out and in, and rotate at the thigh. She's got double knee joints there, and her feet bend forward and back and rotate. She, being such a thin-legged figure, and with her hair and cloak, she does tend to be a little bit back-heavy. But if you pose her with the gun, it does kind of tend to balance her out, so you can get her in some good poses. Now, Hope first appears as a little baby in X-Men number 205 in 2007. She is the first mutant born after the Decimation event, which Scarlet Witch depowered a bunch of mutants and prevented any more mutants from being born. So when all these factions discovered that she existed, they sought her out. You had the Marauders that were running their own agenda and were being used by Mystique to run her agenda. And you had the X-Men, of course, who wanted to go in there and protect her. And you had the Purifiers, who wanted to go in there and exterminate her. They're anti-mutant people. So, with her being a target, Cyclops decides to send her into the future with his future son, Cable. And so, he goes off into the future, and he's pursued by Bishop, who thinks that by killing Hope, who is then nameless, by killing the baby, he's going to prevent the future where Apocalypse takes over. And so he's pretty driven to make sure that she is killed somehow. So eventually she does return to what is our present day, or the present day in the Marvel Comics, and she comes back, and by now she's a young adult, and like I said, about maybe 16 to 18 years old, and she's been raised by Cable and trained to be a warrior. And when she arrives, her arrival, I guess, triggers or heralds the new batch of mutants being born, which is pretty funny because they're already teenagers, so I guess they were already mutants. It's just somehow her presence released the magic that prevented them from being mutants. I don't know. So anyway, the X-Men use her to find these new mutants, and she's pretty much now charged with training and finding these new mutants and bringing them to the school. Well, not the school, but yeah, I can't remember where she's in that school, or if she's with Cyclops, or she's in between. But she's pretty much going to seek out new mutants. I do kind of have a little bit of trouble with the character because her powers are really undefined. She just has this kind of nebulous, omnipotent power of mimicking other people's powers, but to their utmost ability. Even if they themselves can't use their powers to the utmost ability. But as a figure, I think she's pretty neat. She's definitely got that, future, apocalyptic future look, with the shawl, cape, cloak, whatever, blowing in the wind back there, and her wrapped gauntlets and boots and stuff. So, even though I'm not really a big fan of the character, I guess I kind of recommend her. So anyway, I guess that'll be it for Hope Summers. And stay tuned for my next review, which will be on the Extremis Iron Man. And until then, I'll see ya.